Yes, it has been some time since I've been on live. So today we're going to talk about how I got global entry for my family of five for $50. So, my name is Shyla Massey. I am the owner of Glistening July. We are a travel organization that specializes in all things hospitality, from tours, hotels, cruises, um, recreation, food and beverage, clubs, you name it. We've pretty much done some of everything. This year, we have some unusual goals. So we are actually snowed in. We're in one of those cities. I went outside today and there is snow, well, ice right now because the temperature dropped. So we are in the negatives. But I had to go get some water because I had no water in the house. Well, I had water, but I had purified water. So, yeah. So let's get right to it. So, um, I want to say maybe had to be about 10 years ago. I wanted to get global entry for my family, and it's me, and I have four children, and I didn't know how I was gonna do it, and so I happened to work with this lady, and she had her children's father is like from Canada. And she was like, well, you can go get a Nexus card. And when you go get your Nexus card, they'll give you all adults in your house pay $50 and your children are free 18 and under. I was like, 18 and under, Nexus? Like, she's like, yeah. So you go online, you go through Customs and Border Patrol, and you register to get a Nexus card at the border. So the border is anywhere, the Canadian border. So for the Nexus card, it is any of the Border Patrol locations along the top of the United States. So the closest one to me is Detroit. That is a day's drive. At the time, we were scheduled to go to Detroit for the Amateur Athletic Union track and field Olympics, so Junior Olympics for the Amateur Athletic Union. And so I figured, okay, this would be a no-brainer. So the way it went is I paid online $50 for myself, and then I registered all of my children who were minors, and they were all free. So we had to wait for our appointment, which I scheduled our appointment for the time that we were already going to be in Detroit. So that was a no-brainer for me. So when I went, I had to make sure I had our birth certificates, our social security cards, and I needed a photo ID for everyone. Well, just like a picture for everyone. It could have been hello. It could have been like their school ID card. So that's what they use. So we made the appointment. We went in, and literally, I met with the Customs and Border Patrol from Canada, and Canada transferred me over to the United States Customs and Border Patrol. And when they transferred me over, they were like, oh, by the way, do you want to get global entry added where we'll take a picture of you and take your fingerprints? And I was like, yeah. And so all of my children got their pictures taken and they got their fingerprints done. I think maybe I forgot one document, but I was coming back the next day to Detroit. So that wasn't an issue. So what ended up happening is me and all my children got global entry for $50. And it was that way until I got a ticket. And I got a ticket during COVID. So what happened was I was supposed to go to court and I missed court. I was late to court. So I went to court. I was late to court. That lady, I was like, I need to pay this ticket. If I don't pay it, what'll happen? So she told me what'll happen. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pay it. So I went, I paid the ticket. So remember during COVID, it was locked down. So this was March. So this was November, somewhere around that time. And so we went into lockdown and I paid for this ticket. I thought the ticket was paid for, right? I had a receipt and everything. So one day I'm driving and we're still in lockdown and the cops pull me over. And the lady is like, you have a warrant. I'm on the phone with my friend. And I remember clearly telling my friend, like, I got to call you back. It's the police. Black Lives Matter had just happened. So it was like, nobody was outside. So I was kind of scared. It wasn't no kind of, I was scared. So the lady said, "You have a warrant for your arrest." I said, "A warrant?" "Ma'am, no, I don't have no warrants out for me." And the lady said, "No, you do have a warrant." And she said, "Hold on." And so I looked, I said, "Ma'am, this is the last ticket I have." I said, "Here's a receipt." And they gave me back cash. She said, "Yeah, this is the city and they want me to bring you in." I said, "Why would I go in with a cop and I paid the ticket?" She said, "I don't know." She said, "But what I am going to tell you is I'm going to let you go and I'm going to let you call them tomorrow." She's like, "Do not leave out the house no more." And I was like, "Ma'am, you can see I gave them money. I gave them cash and they gave me money back. It says it on the receipt." She said, "I see all of this." And I told them that I have your receipt in my hand. They still want me to bring you in. She said, "I'm going to let you go. Go home. Do not drive no more today," and call them. So I called them. By this time, I get to notice that basically I don't have my global entry no more and that Nexus is dropping me, but my children still have theirs because I've broken the law. And I'm like, I haven't broken any laws. Like there's nothing that I've done to break to break any laws to not be able to have global entry or to move in and out of Canada freely. So I called a lady and the lady is like, "Yeah, we got a warrant out for your arrest." I said, "Ma'am, you could not have a warrant out for my arrest when I paid this ticket." She said, "You know what? You did pay the ticket." So then she goes over to the police department, which this is how small the city is. And she and she says, "Oh, he never removed a warrant off from your arrest." What? I said, "Ma'am, how could he slip up? Like I could have really, it could have went really, really left really, really quick if this officer wasn't gracious enough to let me go with all this Black Lives Matter stuff going on and me telling her I don't have a warrant. Here's the receipt." And she's like, "I do apologize. I do see how this could have went left." She was like, "I don't know how they let this sit on their desk this long." So in the meantime, I've lost my global entry status, right? So here, your girl, my whole family, all of my children have global entry except for me because this small little Hicktown police department did not remove the warrant off of my arrest for a ticket that I paid them in full for. And yes, I was speeding, and yes, the ticket did belong to me, but I paid for the ticket. There is no reason why there should have been a warrant out for me. So now I can no longer zip through the line through when I'm traveling out of the country because I am I don't have global entry. So then they come out with this mobile passport thing and it's new. And my friend, me and her go out the country, right? So at this time I don't have global entry anymore. So I use mobile passport. Tell me why mobile passport gets me through customs faster than global entry. So we're moving along for a year. So every time I leave out of the country, now I use mobile passport wherever they are. If they are not there, I'm like, "Oh God, please get me through this really quickly." But typically when I come in and out the country, I am using mobile passport. And just recently, I got tired of going back and forth with Nexus. And so I did sign up for global entry through the USA, but my children still have global entry through Nexus. So they have a Nexus card and they have global entry. So the moral of the story is, if you want to travel with your family, there are ways to do it. There are things and programs available for you. Nexus is good if you're close to one of those bordering cities that have an entry point between the United States and Canada. It's the great option for a single parent with children. At the time, it was me and 4 kids, and I only paid $50. Again, I only paid $50 for global entry for 5 people. And yes, you can go to their website. You will make an appointment to go in. They do an interview. They look at your background. You cannot have anything on your background. You can't have a DUI in Canada and be an American citizen. You cannot have anything on your record in order to get the Nexus card. But the Nexus card will allow you to have global entry for free, in essence. So here I am, paid $50. And somebody may say, "Well, you also pay for gas to get to Detroit." Well, I was already going to Detroit. You know, I have family that live in Detroit, Michigan. So it's nothing for me to drive up there for the day and come back. It's not, and it's worth it. Even if it's a whole tank of gas, a tank of gas is $40. So it cost me $90 for a family of 5 to get global entry. So that's a good deal. So again, if you live in Minnesota, if you live in Michigan, if you live in New York, like near Buffalo, New York, near Niagara Falls, New York, those are all entryways to go from Canada to the United States. If you live any of those bordering cities, entryways to go from Canada to New York, think about getting a Nexus card for you and your family. It was $50 per person when I got it. It'll probably be lower than that by now, but it's $50 per person, and for adults 18 and older, and children 18 and under are free. So again, all my children had global entry. I had a daughter who went to Australia with global entry, a son that went to Japan with global entry. Me and my children, we went to Jamaica. We went to Turks and Caicos. It works the same way. It's just I didn't pay. I don't even know what the price is now. I think I paid 120, 150 recently just for global entry, just to be done and over with it. But my children, like I said, they maintain their Nexus card, so they have global entry with that. Somebody was talking about how it's free for kids. Well, for me, it's always been free for my kids to have global entry. The only caveat to this is that if your children have global entry and you don't get to piggyback off of them. Like they can go into TSA pre-check, but you can't. You have to go through the regular line. So if they're 12 and under, you can like just tell them, just go, hey, go ahead, go to the gate. If they, they've been doing it for a minute, they stick together, so they know how to do it, like like writing their names. So yeah, I've let them gone through TSA pre-check on their own, but I also have Clear too. So with Clear, I like Clear because it used my retina scan, and then I get to the front of the line. So I'm all about what's gonna get me to the front of the line. I do not like waiting in lines. I can wait in the line, but I just don't like doing it. And so I'm all about what's gonna get me to the front of the line. And because I couldn't get global entry for a minute, and I only had mobile passport and I only had Clear, that was how I would get through the lines. And then I know people, because I fly so much, I actually know the union rep for the TSA in my city. I forgot where I put his number at, but I do know him. Our children used to run track together. So he'll give me little tips. Like, all of these people are important the more you travel, because they're the ones that help you through getting through the TSA lines. So, so yeah, I pay for Clear every year. Have I used the Clear with the TSA pre-check? I think I have, maybe only once. But whatever's going to get me through that line the fastest, that is what I'm using. That is exactly what I'm using. That's what my children are using. Oh, another thing that I do enjoy about traveling with my children is that when you travel with kids, you don't go through the metal detectors. I mean, you don't go through the one that you go like this in. You go through the metal detector. So, and lately I've been randomly selected to be the one that they pat down, but it still makes it so much easier because your kids don't have to take off their shoes. You do, which I don't know who came up with that rule, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I do like traveling with my children. I do like traveling, especially if we have a long haul flight and we're in, I think they call it economy. They don't call it coach no more. But if we in coach, because I still get more, I'm not skinny, so I get more room in my seat because my kids are skinny. And it's just us three, because it's normally like a 3x5x3 plane that you fly international one. So you get more room on your seat. Now, our flight last year to Dubai, that was horrible. And I think that was Qatar. It was a coach. It was a partner with American Airlines. So yeah, I think it was Qatar. But this is Glisten in July. That's the name of this company. We talk about all things travel related. If you are interested in traveling, go ahead and follow my page. I am not new to traveling. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I've been a traveler since I was a little kid. My father used to send me to California as an unaccompanied minor. And then I used to go as a teenager. I've been locked in an airport before. I have been left at an airport before by my aunt in California many a days, many a times. So I have a lot of knowledge from travel. You know, I know you see a lot of people on here and they've been traveling the last 10 years. I've literally been traveling my whole entire life through road trips, through the airplane. Um, so yeah, so I talk about my adventures. I talk about me bringing my children along on different trips. I typically don't travel in January. I did go on a trip already this year, but that was because I had signed up for a class. And so that's how I ended up traveling. But in January, I don't go anywhere, especially not the beginning of January. Um, there's something I do personally during that time. So traveling pretty much always conflicts with that. And so because it conflicts with that, I just don't travel during that time. But I did go somewhere this year already. It is to one of my least favorite states, but I still went and I made it through. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I, I have one more time to go back to the state, and that will probably be it for the rest of my life. I will never go back again. I'm not a fan of the state, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do like the United States. I actually love it. I think it's a beautiful country. I think we have something for everyone. I just saw on Instagram today where somebody posted, like, I guess Florida was the only state that said we ain't having cold weather because it was 79 degrees all throughout Florida. So I know somebody who's in Key West right now, and it looks beautiful. That's like one of my favorite places to vacation in the United States is Key West, especially taking a drive from Miami down to Key West. If you've never done that, that's something to do at least once in your lifetime, and you can fly all the other times. But that drive is really worth it. Key West is so beautiful. It's just very beautiful down there. It's like going to another country and you haven't even left the United States. So I do like Key West. We've been going since 2024. Yep. So we went last year, July 4th weekend. The year before that, we went Memorial Day weekend. So I don't know. I did like Memorial Day better than I did July 4th weekend. But make sure you like make sure you subscribe to our channel. And everything you see is a place that I've been to. Like, this is not somebody else's videos. These are my videos. This is my content. These are places I've actually gone in real life. I've been I've been at an airport out of the country and there was a bomb threat and I was the only person in the airport. Yeah, and I was asleep right at American, and a Parisian individual cop came up to me and was speaking French. Don't speak a lick of French. And this was many, many years ago. Many, many years ago. The first country I visited out of the United States was actually on the continent of Africa. Um, I went to Canada when I was in 3rd grade. And my birthday's in the summertime, so that tells you I was the right age. I went to Mexico for the first time at 17. And then I went to Senegal and Dakar when I was 18. Yeah. I don't know, I was 18, or maybe I was 19. Maybe I was 19 going on 20. But the point is, my first country, the first time I left the continent of North America, I went to Africa. So that was before it was popular to go. Now it's popular. Like, oh, we're going on vacation, in the Maldives. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, I went when it wasn't popular. When they had the semi-automatics and machetes greeting you at the airport and there was no order getting on the plane. Like, that's when I went. So yes. But yeah, if you did not hear the story about how to get global entry for $50 for a family of 5, you need to rewatch this video. You need to rewatch the video. I go through how I did it, how it can be done. It is not a secret. If you live on one of the bordering states between Canada and the United States, where there is an entry into Canada, that is your best option. I am a single mother to four beautiful children, and we have been traveling since my children have been little. Like, my children know the United States. They tell me they know how to drive on the highway. I don't know about that. When I was their age, um I was the co-pilot for my father. So I used to read the maps. I was the MapQuest girl in the car. So I know how to get from one state to another by reading the signs. I do know how to do that. I know how to get in the car and drive to one state. I could get all the way across the other side of the country. I've done that. I've driven from Ohio to Montana and Wyoming and Nebraska. Yes, I've done that before. Probably never do that again, but I've done it, and I can check that off my list. I got another trip that I'm trying to put together now with my children. We'll see how this goes, but I want to go whitewater rafting. I should have did this years ago, but I don't know what took me so long to do this. But I want to go whitewater rafting in a state that I've never been to. So I'm excited about that. And so, do any of you have global entry? If you don't, I suggest you get it. There's ways to get it without breaking the bank for your whole family. Somebody was like, oh, it's free. If you get it, it's free for your children. Well, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it don't really matter. Like, that mobile passport line is where it's at, though. Don't nobody want to talk about that. That's where it's at. The mobile passport line. You want to know why? Because nobody uses it. Nobody uses it. Nobody knows how to use it, and nobody uses it. So that's where it's at. It's free. The mobile passport line. All you do is download the app when you land. Once you hit the tarmac in the United States, you download the mobile passport app. You tell them your entry, what city you're coming into. And then it lets them know, okay, here's a picture of me. Here's my passport. I am coming through this line. And that line is always the shortest. If you're trying to get through that line is shorter than global entry. Nobody talks about that. And that's free. Absolutely free, free. It costs you nothing. So that's the line, everybody. And you could put your whole family on one ticket. So if it's 5 of y'all, all 5 of y'all, all your passports, everything. I do not recommend doing global entry and it's a mobile passport line. I do not. I've done both of them. I've had them all. Like, I don't recommend you get in the global entry. And I can go back and forth with somebody all day about this because I know how much I travel. I know where I've been. I know what I've done with my children. And I highly recommend mobile passport. And then once everybody finds out about mobile passport, then it's going to be useless. Then it's like, okay, you need to go back to global entry. But I do like mobile passport because nobody uses it. Nobody uses it. And mobile passport normally goes through the same lines as ambassadors, like the embassy people, like it's right there, or the flight attendants. It's like a really, really small, and they never direct you to the mobile passport line. They always want to send you to the line with everybody else. I don't pay. And then them people don't work for the government either, so I don't pay them no attention. I just be like, no, my thing right here on my phone says mobile passport. See, it says mobile passport. This is the line I'm getting in. Where's the mobile passport line? Where's the mobile passport line? And then, let me tell you this story too. So, when somebody asks you where you just come from, you don't have to answer that question. They know where you just came from. They scan your passport. They send information to the computer to let them know this U.S. citizen was just in Doha, Qatar. This U.S. citizen was just in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So they know where you at. They know where you at all times. Oh, like when I was walking in from Mexico, one of the Customs and Border Patrol agents said, oh, do you travel a lot? I said, what do the computers say? They looked at me. I'm like, yeah, the computer tell you everywhere I done been. So do the computer tell you I travel a lot? They said, well, yeah, okay then. So then I travel a lot. What are you asking me the question for? You already know the answer. That's why you got a chip in my passport, for you to know where I'm at all times. Like, you asked me, do I travel a lot? And the thing that told you I done been to 10 countries in the last 5 months. Of course I travel a lot. So what you asking me that question for? Is there another something else you would like to know? What was my favorite trip I've been on so far? Like, that's a good question to ask somebody. Well, do you travel a lot? If I sat up here and said no, then you would know I would be lying to you. Because you can see everywhere I done went. So yes. So yes, please do not entertain dumb questions with the Customs and Border Patrol people. Take your picture, which they should already have a copy of if you do that mobile passport, and hand them your passport. Thank you, and go get your luggage and keep it pushing. Like, you still got to connect to your other flight to get to your other city, unless this is your final destination. But cut the small talk down. Like, do nobody get time for all of this back and forth when you traveling, right? And then in China, I ain't even get to China. China is no joke. It ain't no like, these my little kids. They're like, no, you're gonna go one by one, and your kid can go first, and they'll go through immigration by themselves. There is no, we a group of family and we all going through immigration. No, in China, your child goes through immigration by themselves. Just to let you know, there is no, well, that's my little baby. No, you should keep your little baby at home. If your baby cannot speak for themselves in China, you are not standing at the immigration officer in China talking to them while your child is going through. Your child has to have their passport, and they need to be able to conduct and talk on their own. You do not go with your child while you're in China, and they see you each individually, and they send you off to the customs agent individually as well. It's not, oh, we gonna take you all and look at all your, nope, you go one at a time in China. So I don't think enough people talk about that either. So yeah, make sure you comment, you subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, let me know, because I'm kind of excited about this year. I got some things that I'm going to do, and I got planned. I didn't even talk about my trip to China. I have not even talked about that. And it wasn't just my trip, it was my family's trip. It was me and out of my 4 children. We went to China. And this was listening to my daughter off the cuff of, oh, we could just walk in. No, you cannot just walk into China. You cannot just go in and, no, that you have, when they say this is where you need to interact, they mean that. This is where you can enter our country at. It is not no, I'm gonna go to Hong Kong and then I'm gonna take, nope, no, you're not. That's not what you're gonna do. So yeah, and you have to show proof of stay. Where you staying at? So my name is Shyla Massey. This is Glistening July. I'm a travel enthusiast. I can honestly say that. I've been traveling all my life with my family as a kid, and as a solo traveler when it was not popular as a kid. I have been left in airports. I have been been left in airports doing bomb threats, and I'm the only person in the airport. I have missed flights, maybe about 5 flights my whole life. I even missed a flight when I was a minor, if you believe it or not, and had to figure out how I was gonna get to California as a minor, because I was traveling by myself and you could no longer go unaccompanied. So I had to figure all that out. This was in the 90s. So yes, I am a well-seasoned traveler. I have been, my first trip out of the country was at 3rd grade to Canada. Second time was 17, and that was to Cancun. And my third time was to the continent of Africa. I went to Senegal and I went to Gambia, all by myself, because nobody wanted to go to Senegal or Gambia at the time, because wasn't nobody going to Africa. Only the crazy people, as they would say, was going to Africa. But the French were in Africa when I arrived. They were vacationing in Africa, which I thought was amazing. Like, oh, y'all just coming here to chill, huh? So yeah. All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am about to be out. I've been on here for almost 30 minutes. And if you don't have any questions, I don't know anything about graduating high school in June, what college you going. I don't know nothing about college. I am done with college. I have been done with college. Thank you if you think I'm young. That's a compliment. But yeah, and if not, oh well. Life goes on. I'm here to talk all things travel. All things travel, travel, travel. Make sure you see the United States. Make sure you see your own country, wherever that may be, and that you learn to love where you're from and you're able to help others to appreciate where you're from and the goodness of your country. Like every country has something that is unique about them. I just think that the United States is very beautiful. And if it was up to me, I probably would never go anywhere else. It's not because I don't want to, it's just I think there's something for everyone here. I think there are different seasons, different climates, and it's just beautiful. I really do think that. And I never can get enough of seeing what the United States has to offer. So, I know it was stolen land and all of that other stuff that people say, but it is actually a very beautiful country. And yeah, I've been to a lot of beautiful countries though. So I'm not saying like, you know, there's something about every country culture that makes them unique and beautiful. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye bye.